ourselves, we have thoughts. Then we have beliefs. What is another program inside of ourselves which makes us make decisions every single second? Values. Spot on. Give me a 5. High five. So, your values, guys, are the same as the operating system in any device that you have, in any computer. It literally, that's what makes you pay attention to something, follow something up, connect with somebody. Anything goes through your values. The problem is, most people have conflicting values. And this is where totally you get distorted. And this is totally what takes you out of that space of where I'm talking about being present and being still. Because in that moment, if your child is crying, you've lost the concentration because you value the child. In that moment, if the phone rings and you know it's going to be the make or break call with a client that pays you 100k, you've lost the concentration because you've given yourself priority to the 100k client. So in your case, you value something outside of you more than valuing yourself. So therefore, you live in your life through other people's values. Yes, but this is the stuff that takes us outside of who we are. And we do not become congruent with that person that we all know there's a spirit in myself. We all know I need to do my spiritual development. We all know I need to go through this. In whatever form, shape or format you go through that, because each person has a different journey. Some people will go to workshops, some people will go in meditation, some people get a spiritual teachers, other people will go to workshops. They'll come to my healing stuff. Each person has their own way of doing it. You can go into yoga, stretching. Those people are having an experience in that. They are probably listening to something, but they're not consciously aware of what they're listening. If your body is being moved like that, and you're not paying attention to what's being moved, you're just doing a movement. And you will only experience 1% of what you can experience in that moment. Or yesterday in the moment of circle of love. Each one of us have a powerful voice. Yet I was hearing like chickens. Well, if you think about 60 people, if they gave their voice like this and shouted, and they went with all their hearts, what do you think would have been in here? All these people expressing their love. People were not expressing. I know, so now you know it.
No, I'm the one with the loud voices who is making noise. That's why I came to a workshop for listening.
Okay. Absolutely. But you know, we can be silent and listen. When we need to, we honor silence. And I will invite you at the end of this process to really spend 5 minutes with me and honor the silence. And see how you can go with it and shut down the noise outside of this tent. And then in that moment, I would like you to reflect and give me feedback afterwards what you put in silence. And what can you listen in your body? Because we can listen to our thoughts. We can listen to our heartbeat. If I ask you a question right now, how many of you instantly are listening to your heartbeat and my voice? Heartbeat and my voice instantly in every second in time. And yet you have an organ inside of you going pump, 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 pump. And it's number one organ that pumps the blood through your entire body, feeds the brain, feeds every organ for you to be able to function. And yet you are not listening to the same thing that you want to honor. When we are in that space, anyone who's around you naturally will be enlightened. Because you're not trying to control anything. So as a scientist, when people challenge me, and I've been challenged on a spiritual level, mental level, emotional level, physical level, you know, bad spirits, good spirits, and I look at pure basic science. I have a light bulb in here. radiating light. What happens to if a darkness comes next to it? Light bulb. What happens to the darkness, I said? It becomes light. And if it moves, it goes back into darkness. So there's no need for you to drop your vibration just because a darkness comes towards you. And the only time we drop that vibration because we haven't done our own inner work. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, I didn't want the conflict, and I really was very reluctant.
So it's really when we are in that space of where we can truly honor ourselves, honor our capabilities. What I'm asking you guys in here, step into your power, into your capability that goes beyond your perceived limits. Because we can have limiting way of what thinking about ourselves. And I spoke to a lovely lady yesterday, I'm not sure if she's around. And I asked Sam, was it Sam? No.
Oh, I'm in Lebanon.
Sam, it was Sam, the Brazilian girl I asked you to help yesterday. Yeah. So, in a wheelchair. And we both identified how she's remained in that level of consciousness that, let's say, people tell you in a wheelchair you'll never walk again.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you were with us yesterday. So this is how easily we can become very limited because we're not truly listening to ourselves. We're listening to the stories and we're listening to what everyone else is telling us. And what everyone is telling us not necessarily means it's my truth. So going within ourselves, we discover, we experience our own truth. So that truth that resides in your heart.
Can I just ask, were you saying earlier then, or not, that a way to keeping centered would be to be listening to your heartbeat all the time?
That's one of them. It's one of the processes.
Yeah.
So if you guys took one thing from today, it's going to practice in whichever way you guys want to do it. Whether it's through meditation, whether it's through silence, whether it's like putting a candle, whether it's you sitting in bed, whether it's like being on the bus, on a journey, everything else. Just bring your focus back in. You can, for me, even when I meditate, I keep my eyes closed now, open now. I don't need to close my eyes to meditate. I can meditate right now while I'm talking to you guys. We have that ability. And you have that stillness. So if you look into my eyes, you will experience still universe. And each one of us has that ability. So when it comes to that, it's basically, right now, I can tell you exactly how my heart beats. So I'm talking, I'm sensing, I'm thinking, I'm listening to you guys. At the same time, I'm listening to what's inside of me. So the first step is you can do it. Heartbeat is the loudest voice we have inside, apart from the thoughts. But real voice. It's your heartbeat. Bring yourself to a space where you can simply listen to your heart. And do not give up until you can do that. That's your best meditation you can ever apply.
Can I ask
Hold on a bit. If you put your hand in here, put your hands, guys, in your hearts. So let's just, for you, some of you want to close your eyes. Some of you can keep them open, whichever it makes you start. So I would like you to really bring your entire focus, attention to your hearts. And listen to it. Listen to this beautiful organ. Imagine your hand now, right now, becoming light. And with that light, send it to your heart. Just imagine it just vibrates light and entering slowly and slowly in your hearts. just let that light penetrate your hearts. And suddenly that light becomes liquid light. And let it encapsulate your heart. Just go through, imagine just like blood going, like white blood, light. Just going through your chest. And healing and filling up the space. Your rib cage. And now listen to that voice of the heart. Listen to that beat. And spend a few seconds in that, a few moments. Now imagine the heart opening up, like a doorway, an ancient doorway, big ancient doorway. And suddenly you see blinding light. And let it light up your entire body. Feel the vibration of the light. Let it heal. Let it increase your vibration. Sense its power. Allow it. That's it. Good. Imagine now it strengthens, it becomes even more powerful. And it creates a big ball of light. Hold that vision of light, of big ball. And now I would like to see, imagine, visualize your heart in the middle of that ball of light. And let this light free up your heart from any heartache, from any experiences that have touched you. Many broken relationships, from many control issues you may have. Let that heart breathe the light. Imagine the heart at the center of this ball starts breathing again. See it free itself. See any unwanted attachments drop out with the white light. See it feeling energized. And let that energy through the heart go going into your blood. Take it upwards through your neck, into your head. Let it energize your entire brain. Your skin. Until you sense and feel the light coming out of your head like a glowing bulb. And exteriorize this energy around you in this circle of light. Into the environment, into this festival. The countryside. See it flowing and flowing, and getting bigger and bigger through the oceans, around the planet, into the universe. Connecting to the source energy. As you connect, you see that instant power of the source coming through the beam of light back into the planet, through the oceans. Send it to all your loved ones, families, the spirits, every being on this planet. See it fill up the space and the darkness, enlightening anything that's on its way, making its way back through those fields, back into your crown chakra, into your heads, feeling and sensing the power of the light and the love and the wisdom and the peace it carries. Bring it down into your heart. Now listen again to your heart. Listen and honor it. Honor this beautiful organ. And bring that light down into your stomach, into your legs, into the ground. And feel the full connection from your head to your legs. Feel the entire body filled up with this liquid light and the love it brings, the healing, the wisdom, and all that exists in the infinite wisdom of love. Take this moment to honor and thank the spirit worlds, the source others, and finally yourselves. And gently open your eyes for those listeners. And first, thank you is to yourselves, and thank you to each one of you.
Thank you, Tony.
Namaste. Open for questions.
I have a question. I have a question because you said when you have to think about something, the answer is no.
Yes.
But for myself, usually to make a decision, like both answers seem bad. Like I struggle with making decisions. So that's like I think about it for ages, both sides, and I really struggle to make a decision.
Yes,
So would they like both?
it's one of the
No.
major issues when people struggle, because we all go through times when we struggle with decision to make.
Yeah, but
When I came to Raw Fest or when I went to America,
I need to
struggle
make
with
like a life decision.
I need
and
to
I
make,
don't-
absolutely, it's in reality, how do we apply the tools that we learn?
Yeah.
So the clarity of what you value most, it's your problem.
And it's the fear of the unknown and stuff like
No,
that.
the
as
fear
well.
kicks in afterwards.
No.
Because when you value something, you can make an instant decision. Give me, what's your highest value?
Family.
Family.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have children? Are you
No,
married?
no.
So, what do you mean by family?
Like my parents and my brother.
Where are they?
South Africa.
South Africa. So they're not here. Imagine right now, through the meditation, that they called you and say somebody died.
Yes.
What would you do?
I've done that. I flew over like straight away.
Straight away.
Yeah.
So you had instant clarity
Yeah.
to make a
Okay.
decision. When we struggle to make a decision, because I don't have the clarity what I value more. So do I value to be at the Raw Fest, or do I value to go Brighton, or do I want to make love to my partner, or do I want to go shopping, or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
It's when we don't have that clarity, it impacts the way we make decisions. So I would suggest for you, it's you can go on my website. There's a download you can do. It's about having clarity of the value process, and how lack of clarity in yourself about your values keeps that space in which you cannot clearly make decisions in any moment in time, without
Yeah.
going through the struggle of thoughts in your head.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Because all of us, we have the ability to instantly make decisions.
Yeah. I guess I'm afraid to make a decision. Fear
Yes.
is like massive.
Yeah, but fear will be there only when you don't
Yeah.
value something. So you valued your family, you instantly made a decision, you went.
Yeah.
There was no fear in there. You didn't think about airplane is going to go down, somebody will shoot it down. There was this plane that went down in Ukraine or anything like that.
Yikes,
You
yeah.
just straight away honored that. And when we honor something that we truly value, we instantly are in the process of thought, decision, clarity.
Okay.
It's only when we don't that's what happens.
What is your name? Sorry.
Tony.
Website? I mean,
Yes,
like, what is your...
I've got a book down there. I wrote a book called The Path to Wisdom, and the book
Okay.
is specifically. Oh, there we go. There you go. If anybody wants to look around, you can pass it around. You can purchase a signed copy over there. But the book was written in a way to help each person on this planet to go within. Because there are so many personal development books out there. There are so many spiritual books. At the moment, it's top 100 spiritual books on Amazon. So, and that is the ranking is going further down. And it's written in a language which basically merges the Western psychology and Eastern methodologies of natural healing of the body, mind, and the spirit. So it's about the journey to go within yourself. And each paragraph within the book is not something you just read. The energy written behind that is take each paragraph and then bring it into yourself. And what does this mean to me? Where am I in this process, in this paragraph? Am I really honoring that, or am I not honoring that?
Yeah.
And the method which I created is a 5-step methodology. It's about one is that how do you come into that true acknowledgement space. I went through that almost like 44 years of my life, working first of all with myself to raise my vibration and deal with my own shit, like most of us do. And then if I'm going to be of service to somebody, I need to be of service to the entire planet. So therefore anybody can approach me with any problem and I will love them no matter what they've done. In that vibration, this person feels loved, feels trustworthy, and therefore is the first step when the people can trust you, being able to be transparent and not fear that somebody will see you for who you are. And that's my gift. And that's my gift with everybody I work, whether I work on a corporate level or on a private level with private clients. To love them for who they are. And then discover the clarity where there's no consistencies in their life. And then help them, giving them tools how they can shift and transcend their lives
That sounds.
to achieve what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because each one of us has a specific mission. Each one of us has gone through a certain process. So I had 5 challenges, and I speak about it in my book. Number 1 challenge was when I was young. I was struck by an illness. I was only 9 years old. Left me paralyzed, left me bedridden for 2.5 years in hospital in Macedonia. This is in former Yugoslavia. My parents were told I would die. Out of that, 6 months I spent in having near-death experiences every day. And I got in touch with the spirits. So when the whole medical history gave up on me, my mother didn't, my spirit didn't. So I went on many spiritual journeys, and my mother took me to a lot of healers. So as I started getting better and awakening to a conscious awareness, I started saying how this old man, dressed up like that, and lives in a hut can actually heal me. And how come a doctor who's gone through all the medical training and everything else with all this beautiful equipment, they told my mother, you will die. And I used to see constantly the way he used to injection, drugs and stuff like that. I was bigger than you. So I used to see my body, out of sight of my body, and I used to see what people are doing to my body. I used to see their language, the nurse's language, and everything else. So when I came back, when I was giving my mother feedback, they did not know how to make sense back in the 70s of what I was telling them as a child, that all these people did all those things to me. But then when I met my teachers, when I met people who've gone out of body experiences and I could make sense of that, I went like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with those people, the way they think about me. So I suddenly discovered and became extremely curious what makes us heal. How come an old man who's never been in society, lives in a hut in the woods, goes with candles, with water, blesses the water, thinks something, makes me feel, and I feel better about myself. And helped me heal. So that was my first challenge as a child. The second challenge is the war that happened in former Yugoslavia, and I think I have a lady here from Slovenia. And I was taken from school at the age of 17 to fight a war which I despise. It was one country, I had family in all those countries, and yet I was forced to join a war and given a gun at the age of 17 and say kill people. Which literally gave me that feeling of everything I believed, and we grew up in a society which was a beautiful society, but yet at the same time was very conditional and very authoritarian. It was Tito, and every home had to have the picture of the President Tito in their homes. So first of all, we honor the President, then our parents and ourselves. So it was there was no real freedom in that. But when you are in that space and you don't see anything from outside that space, you believe totally that. So here I am in the war, seeing half of my family, half of my friends being torn and killed, and I felt helpless. So I lived on a daily basis, not knowing whether I'm going to have another second of my life. I lived in fields that are full of bombs and walking not knowing when I'm going to blow up. So that was 18 months of my life, and I ended up in the streets of London. In the streets of London with no family, no job, no friends, no education. I was robbed of my entire life. I would invite you just to think for yourselves what would feel for you. You all have your own crap and everything else, but just imagine this boy. Imagine me at the age of 18 arriving in London with losing family, no job, no education, knows nothing about social benefits, knows nothing, is simply on the street hearing. All we can hear is the war, all we can hear is the loss, all we can hear is the voices. But yet he's blessed that he's away from that environment. I lived under the bridges for 6 months. I never asked anybody for anything. It was provided to me. And eventually, circumstances, I found my first job. And for 9 years, I worked average 18 hours a day. Educate myself, pay for all my teachers, for my schooling, for my first housing, for my first clothes. in that process, also, I worked 3-4 jobs. I had to think about what's happening to the rest of my family who survived, and how I could help my father who was captured by the Serbs. And I have massive hatred towards the Serbs. I experienced that hatred unbelievable until I opened my heart and I forgave everybody. If you met me in the 90s, I could not stand a Serbian being next to me, even though he could have been she could have been the most wonderful person. Because I experienced from a personal level what it is somebody to shoot somebody in front of your eyes with zero guilt, or to rape a woman, or to rape a child, or to sell a child in Germany or other countries. And when you are in that illusion of war, each person will have their own experiences. But at that age, you cannot make sense of that. I did not have parents to help me to make sense with the emotional journey I had to go through that. So that was the second part that really crushed me. The third part was my identity crisis, and for most of you, you've probably gone in your own identity crisis. Identity crisis where I was born in a Muslim family, and then my identity was the straight man, which I had to honor everything else. But I knew I was gay. I was forced to marry, and I had to go through all of the emotions of living a fake life. Fake life. And I became many different people to many different people. And I had to manage that. I see that in corporate world. I see that with every client I see. I see how many identities we create, and yet we're not listening. Sorry, did you want to ask?
Yeah, don't you think that that's part of life? I mean, you don't have one life in a life. You have 1,000 lives, because you have when you're young, when you get married, when you're a mom, when you're divorced, whatever. I mean, you're never the same person. So don't you think that it's part of pretending to want always just one life, but then at the end you have several lives in one life?
But am I
Depends whether
congruent?
you are managing to behave in an authentic way.
Yes,
If
authenticity.
you're completely feeling like my authenticity has been lost when I've talked to you, and then I've become completely different, but I think that's when you lose it. You can be different, you know, I have a wide selection of friends and they all give me something completely different, but the aim is to try and remain integral to
Congruent.